Welcome to Liesel's Artistic Studio. A little while ago, I had a request from one of my viewers to do some tutorials on some of the different types of brushes that you can paint with. So today, I'm super excited to show you the dagger brush and some of the amazing things you can create with just this one brush. So let's get started, and don't forget to subscribe. Here is what a dagger brush is for those of you who are new to painting. It is also known as a striper brush. What makes a dagger or striper so unique and fun and versatile is its shape. If you turn it this way, you can see it is very thin and fine. And when you lay it flat, you have this wonderful fat end that slopes into a lovely fine point or dagger blade shape, hence the name. This brush I'm holding I bought off of Amazon, and it is a 3/8 inch silver black velvet striper. But as long as you have a brush similar in shape, you'll be able to do any of the things I will show you today. Now, the first thing I recommend doing if you're new to a dagger brush is just taking some watercolor paper that you can play around on and just practice a few things. If you hold your brush using the skinny end and the tip, you can make some really nice, thin, fine lines. This can be a great way to paint grass blades. You can also start out with the point and gradually turn it towards the flat end and push downward as you move to make a graduating line. And if you use the entire length of the brush and paint sideways, you can make a nice, thick, fat line. I don't have enough paint and water on my brush, but you can do this several times and you can create a lovely wash of color for a background. I recommend just trying out different angles, different ways to hold your brush, discover what happens. Basically, just get to know your brush. Play around a little bit and see what it's capable of. Now let's try a few ways to paint some greenery, such as leaves and grass. First, try holding your brush so that the handle is pointing away from you with the tip down on the paper. Now pull the brush upward, making a nice thin line. Then holding your arm and hand in the same position, pull the brush sideways, pressing down to make a nice fat end. Then pull upward at the end and make a point. Now don't be afraid to try these exercises several times until you get the hang of it. Now let's try a similar technique, only this time as we move the brush upward, we're going to slightly rotate or turn the brush in our hand so the flat end slightly presses on the paper. Then, when you get to the tip, just rotate it back. This can create some really nice grass blades or long leaves to go with flowers. All right, let's try making some fatter leaves on a stem. So first paint a nice thin line with the tip for the stem. Then when we paint the leaves, we're going to paint half a leaf at a time. So basically, we're going to paint smaller versions of the grass we just did. They will be short and fat. Then add the other half to it. Sometimes it's even fun to leave a little space in between the two to represent a vein in the leaf. Now let's try painting a few different flowers. We'll start with something really simple. First, paint a thin stem or two and a few small branches. Next, let's add some leaves along the branches by simply placing the tip of the brush on the branch and pulling the brush sideways. Now take any color you'd like, and let's add some small and simple flowers to the ends of the branches. All we're going to do to make these is hold the brush with the handle facing away from you, lay the brush down, and using approximately 1/4 of an inch of the front part of the bristles, pull it slightly sideways, leaving the tip of the brush almost in the same spot. Do that 2 or 3 times to form a very simple flower. Now let's try a similar flower with a slight step up in looks and difficulty. So you can choose your colors, but I'm going to use some blue and purple for this. First, I'll load my entire brush with my blue color, and then next I'm going to dip just the tip of it in some of the purple. Now, in a similar way as the previous flower, find a center point for your first petal and fan your brush sideways, leaving the tip of your brush exactly where it is. You may want to make these flowers a little bigger, so press down a little bit more on your brush, and you can also try wiggling your brush a little bit as you fan it to create a bit of a ruffle to your petal. Repeat this process for all 5 petals, making the bottom 2 petals a little smaller for some dimension. If you want to, you can even make a bud in a similar way. And then you can add in some leaves and grass blades that we practiced earlier for a beautiful finished flower bouquet. Now let's take another step up and give a rose a try. For this, let's paint the center of the flower using just the tip, and as you spread outward, gradually start making the petals a little bigger by using more of your brush. I'm not going to go into too great of a detail on this rose. This is mostly for practice and for fun. But here's a tip. If you're wanting to give this a try, have your paint color darker in value in the center of the rose and make it more watered down and lighter in value the farther out you go. You can also go back in after the initial rose has been painted and emphasize a few dark or shadowed areas. And for a finishing touch, add some leaves and a stem. Using a dagger or striper brush is a lot of fun, and there are so many different things you can accomplish with it. But remember, it may take a bit of practice, so just keep giving it a try. Thanks for painting with me today. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please consider subscribing to my channel so I can continue to help you discover your artistic side.